Well, this relates to our ability to really clean up the global cotton supply chain, which when we first investigated was desperately in need of cleaning up. For example, in the United States, there are two species of cotton. There's Pima cotton, which is the higher quality cotton, and it sells as a raw material at a much higher price than does the upland cotton. But if you ship Pima offshore, what returns to the U.S. as finished goods and labeled 100% Pima is much more than the U.S. ships offshore. So obviously it's growing in volume somehow, somewhere, and we decided to take a look at how. So the first thing we did was develop an assay that would allow us to look at a particular kind of DNA inside the cotton fiber that nature provided when the fiber was growing. And we could identify that fiber and speciate the cotton, so we knew whether it was the good cotton or the bad cotton in a very simple test we called fiber typing. But the world had more complex problems than that. So for example, in Uzbekistan, almost all of their cotton is collected by people who are suffering human rights abuses, who are forced into the field for a season at a time. Well, you can imagine that cotton, although it's high quality, is very inexpensive. And when large companies, European or American, put a large amount of pressure on the supply chain for their cotton, wanting for a brand to get very cheap product to be returned, the manufacturers, the spinners, the weavers, the fabric finishers, the dyers, all of those folks, which are all separate entities, separate companies, often in separate countries, look for ways to increase their margin, even by cheating, as long as they can remain within the technical spec of the product. So Uzbeki cotton finds its way into places where federal law in the United States and in the UK, and now it's just happening in Australia, absolutely prevents, under serious punishment, the entry of any of those fibers on finished goods. But I guarantee those fibers are on the runway.